Hello all, welcome to Paraguide video tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to create a nearby restaurant app with NativeScript. So by the end of tutorial, you will be able to create an app that will allow you to search restaurant based on food or cuisine type. So as you can see, here is my app that is running on iPhone Simulator 7. I will name it as Restaurant Finder app. So the app consists of two modules, that is finding the user location using NativeScript Geolocation plugin and using Google Place API to get nearby restaurant based on user location. So the first module would be clicking on this location icon so that I will capture the user location. Then by clicking on the search bar and searching based on my field. Let's say if I want to have a burger, so I will search as burger in the search bar. Now I will get automatically the data populated in my list view with all the data related to burger only. So as I have searched burger, the results are like this: as Burger King, that is nearby to me with a rating of 3.3, Shanky Burger House with a rating of 4.5, 4.4, sorry. So in this list we have the name of the restaurant with its address and rating here. So these all are location where I can have burger. Let's say if I want to modify my search to pizza, so my restaurant app will show me all the location that is nearby to me and having pizza as food being served by them. So in this video we are going to learn how to create an app like this. So to start, create an app that will allow us to get nearby restaurants. We will use first a NativeScript geolocation plugin to fetch current location of user. So to download the plugin, you have to go to npm, that will allow you to download the package as one of the dependency of your project. The plugin will allow you to capture the user location. Second, we will use Google Place API to nearby restaurant data so that we will pass user location to Google Place API to get the nearby restaurant data from Google. So here is a beautiful documentation over how Google will provide us nearby restaurant data. You will have a lot more option here to get the data. So we are going to use one of these API to get the result based on our requirement. And our third objective would be to render our data in a list view based on the searches we will get. So let's dive into the code and see how I am able to do this. So as you can see, I have cloned a basic hello world application. In this first app.component.html, this is my component that is rendering mainly in this application. Here in the first part I have an action bar. If you will look at the action bar has a title Restaurant Finder. As you can see here also, Restaurant Finder is the name of my action bar. So by setting title as Restaurant Finder, you will able to change the title of your action bar. I have set the background color as green and color as white. Color as white mean the color of the text, and background color means the color that is appearing in the background. Here, as in this case, green being the background color and white being the name of the title. Now my action bar consists of action item. An action bar consists of one or more action item. So in this case, I have taken one action item, I have closed it here, and I have set few properties to my action item. That is, I have given ios.position dot is equal to right, which means the position of my action item that is appearing here in this case is right. Okay, now what I have done is, based on the tap event of this icon, I have called a function that is location enabled. I will go to once to the logic part of this application, and we will see how this function is called and allow us to get the user data. Now we have a label inside this action item that is allowing me to display a icon, that is a location icon here. So now in this case I have used font awesome icon here. In my app folder, I have created a font folder here, and I have downloaded a font awesome hyphen webfont.ttf file. So as you can see, font awesome allow us to use icons with the help of a TTF file. So I don't have to worry about downloading images of multiple resolution and setting it to my action item. Instead of that, I am using font awesome webfront TTF file to cater my icon here. So I am just simply taking the hex code, that is the cheat code. By moving to this side, you will have a cheat sheet of all the font awesome icons. So with this text here, as I am highlighting it, I am able to render this icon here. Now my action item is closed. I will move to my second part, that is my layout part. So now in my this stack layout part, stack layout is a layout, if I will say, stack layout is a layout that will have all linear elements in it, linear elements in it, that is, that will appear from top to down approach. First I have a search bar. As you can see in my application, I have a search bar here. Then I have a grid layout. Now this grid layout is composed of rows and columns. So first appear my search bar, now my grid layout. So the list view appearing here must be in grid layout. So now a grid layout in this case is example of a complex layout system that include a list view. List view is a basic component of NativeScript that is provided in by default in NativeScript. So you just have to use list view tag to use list view. A list view composed of template that will allow you to have multiple items being rendered in a list. Now in this case, I have a restaurant array in items. So now as you can see, I have used this restaurant array as items in list view, and then I am using each item of items in my template. Now here again I have used a grid layout with some style and some rows and some columns. Now here my grid layout is closed. So now here in this case I am seeing a image, the name of my restaurant, the address of my restaurant, and the rating of my restaurant. So how I have created this? So inside this template, inside this grid layout, I have a image container, a name label, again a address label, and a rating label. Exactly we have like this here. So the image is in column 0 having a row span of 3 and source as item.image, and other property as stretch, aspect fill, and horizontal alignment as left. Again, now I have taken item.name, item.address, and item.rating in the following labels. So as you can see, it is pretty much clear how grid layout uses rows and columns to give you a layout kind of structure so that you can place element wherever you want. So as I am highlighting it, you can see each item being rendered in the following rows and columns to give you a proper solid layout. So let's move. I will save it once again. Now it will move back to the same again one. So as I will move down, our first step is to know where is this is location enable function. As this is my app.component.ts, as you can see in my template URL I have given app.component.html path. Now I will have a style URL also, that is new.css. As you can see in this new.css I have given only two definition, one is label and another one is text field as font size as 16. So we will discuss this later as we will move to the styling part of our application. Now we have used two service provider, that is location service and restaurant service. I will explain later where we have used this. So our first motive is to move like we are doing in the application. First I have clicked on this location icon and I have seen a alert. Now the alert is saying location services are available. So where this is coming from? So as you can see, I have installed a NativeScript geolocation plugin in my app. So this plugin allow me to have following feature such as location, get current location, is enabled, distance, enable location request functions by default in it. So if you want to look more inside the library, you can see just by clicking on hold on command and clicking it. So you will move to this NativeScript geolocation library. You can look for more other options just by looking at the library here. The library offer many more functions like this to have more function over the location component provided by your device. So we will not go deep inside this as we have basic functions of getting user current location. So with this plugin NativeScript geolocation, we will import some of the functions that will allow us to get our work done. So we have imported the NativeScript geolocation plugin here and we have created two service file, that is location service file and restaurant service file. We will look into it now. As you can see here, I have created a restaurant array, that is of type array of kind any, that will hold the list of restaurant array. I have taken two latitude and longitude points as static for now and a search phrase variable that will hold whatever I am searching in my search bar. In my constructor I have called my location service and I have instantiated it similar to restaurant service. In that I have called enable location request function that will enable the location service as soon as my app opens up. Now the function that I am repeating is location enabled is defined here. So what this function is doing is it is calling is enabled function that is defined here. So then I have written a message location service are not available. So then I have checked for true property of this variable is enabled property. If this variable will return me true, then it will return as location services are available. So as you can see, if I will click on this, this is returning me location services are available. So it means my function has returned true. That's why I am getting location services are available. So how I am doing is this dot get location once is called. What this is doing, once I have get to know my location plugin is enabled, I will call get current location function with a timeout of 500 milliseconds. So what it will do is it will console location received in a variable location. It will I will call it once again and we will see what I am receiving. Let's console. As I have already consoled the start point latitude, let's console this dot start point longitude also. So now let's refresh the app and see what I am getting if I will call on this function. If I will click on this in my terminal, I can see two values, that is 12.9716 as latitude and 77.5946 as longitude. So as you can see, once I have verified my location plugin is enabled, I have called get location function to get my latitude and longitude. Now I have got my latitude and longitude. So it's now time for the Google API to be called with this latitude and longitude. As we have already seen the Google Place API, we will use Google API for this purpose. We will use this Google API of text search based on location such as latitude and longitude with a radius of some parameter and my API key. To get your Google Place API working, you need to have a Google API key. For that, you need to have a Google account. With this Google account, you will get a Google API. If I will click on this, it will show me I have created a project here and now it's showing me my credentials. You don't have to use my credential, you have to use your own credential with your Google account. So I am going to use this API maps.googleapis.com/maps/api/place/text search, and on the base of my text search and with my location latitude and longitude I will get restaurants nearby me. So let's go to the code and see how my code is working. As soon as I type in my application, let's say I type BUR, so now it's showing me some results. Let's add a name, that is burger. So now as I am typing burger, what is happening actually? So let's go to the view layer and see what is happening. In my search bar, if you can see, I have a ng model, that is search phase. Search phase is a variable here in my app.component.ts, as I have already explained you. So this search phase will hold my search value, whatever it is, and I have added a ng model change function here also, that is search data, which will pass the event value here. Let's go to this function and see what is this function is doing in my application. So this search data will get this event here. So let's just console this event and see what is being passed to this event whenever I am searching. So let's save it and see what is happening here. So now as I type, so as you can see in my terminal here, I am getting results like this. So for each of my keystrokes, I am passing my events to this function. So if I will pass the whole function here, so I will get results based on this only. So now let's go to this function and understand what is this function is doing. So now I have cleared my restaurant array here again. So just because with each keystroke in your search bar, I am calling the Google API to fetch the new records from the Google API to get the current Google location. So now what I have done is I have created a simple logic here. If my search phase dot length is greater than 2, that is if you will type AB, it will not get search. If you will type ABC, then it will only search. And I have also implemented one more condition, that is if my argument length modulus 3 equal 0, then and only it will search. So just because to get my result based on some user data, I have created this condition. You can remove it, you can have it search on each keystroke, but to not to get too much data at a one time, I am putting this condition here. So now my search bar will search on every 3 characters in my application. With this, now if you will type any of the space between in your search string, I have replaced it with a plus sign. This is needed because my text search here in Google API does so in this case. So as you can see, the query string is like this: 123 plus main plus street. It would be like 123 space main space street, but you have to pass it to Google by appending it a plus. So that's why I am doing it here. Then I have called the restaurant service. My restaurant service would be to get place data. What this function will do is will go to our restaurant service file and see what this is doing. So now let's go to my restaurant service. So now here in this case I have a class named restaurant service. My server URL would be like this. As I have already shown you, I am using Google Map API to get the places of a restaurant around me. So I will use this server URL with the http.get method here, plus the query string plus the search string I am trying with location as lat and long. I am passing these all parameter here because I am searching it with my latitude, longitude, and the string I am searching it with, along with a radius of 1 kilometer, type as restaurant, and my Google API key. Now what I am doing is I am returning whatever I am getting from this function. So let's get back to this function. So now I have subscribed this function here. So whatever the API will return me, I will get in the data. So how my data will look like? So to get more idea of this, I have used this postman to get know about how the data will look. So I have placed my string query here in my this, and I have clicked on send. So now my JSON data would like this. So it will return me results with formatted address as the address of the restaurant, the icon of the restaurant, the name of the restaurant as Burger King, and rating here. You can have other parameter also, such as photo reference. You can use this photo reference with Google Photo Reference API to get the actual images of the restaurant. Here in this case I am not using it, but you can extend this simple application to get the photos from the Google Photo Reference API. You will have the type of restaurant being it is. As you can see, this is a long array of lot of objects with all the restaurants that are nearby to me. So I'll move to my application. So now as you can see, I have seen my data. Now the results hold all the array, and I have, if you want to see, I will show it again what I need to do in my application. Inside the results, I will use the formatted text, that is result.formatted text, result.name, result.rating, and result.icon. So here in this case, in the result I have used for each, because it's being an array. I will hold each restaurant object and I will assign it to name as restaurant.name, address as restaurant.formatted address, image as restaurant.icon, rating as restaurant object.rating. So now here I have got all my data in my restaurant array. So if I will see my app.component.html, here in this case my restaurant array which consists of array elements that are being passed to items, and each item being item.name, item.address, item.rating. Here also I have used font awesome star icon to show the rating of the restaurant. So here is how I am able to create a restaurant app. So if you will type burger, seems like my internet is overworking. Let me reconnect it again. Let's close the app once and restart it again. Then if you can see, let's click on the location button here again. Now if I will type on burger, that is BUR, each search being rendered on the third time, then for not on the fourth time, not on the fifth time, but will be on the sixth time. So here is how I am doing it. So here is my search being rendered as burger. Let's say if you want to have Chinese, so at the third time it will show. If I will say Chinese, so it will show me all the Chinese restaurant being passed as my query string here. Let's say if you want to have Italian, so as I have already typed 6 characters, it will show me all the Italian restaurants nearby to my location with the rating, as you can see. So with this code we have created a restaurant finder app that will search the restaurant nearby to me with NativeScript geolocation plugin combined with Google location API. So now what we have learned so far is how to style component by applying CSS, as I have showed you in my app.component. Here I have given background color as green. So this is one way of giving green as a color to background, similar to color as white. Now if you can see, styling component by applying CSS doesn't mean writing CSS like this. It also means using CSS in this manner by giving a class name font awesome. So as you can see in my app.css, I have given font awesome with font family as font awesome, because I have used this font awesome webfront TTF file in my application to use font awesome icons. Similarly, if we can see, to show the images here, I have used this circular small square class. So this class hold border radius at 27, width as 55, height as 55 to show the image in a circular fashion. So these are some ways we can style our component. Install plugins and guideline. As you can see, we have used NativeScript geolocation in my application. So to install it, you have to go to the npm directory of it. As you can see, to install it, you have to type tns plugin add NativeScript geolocation, and after installing it, you have to clear your platform by typing tns platform remove android for android, tns platform remove ios for ios, and then again installing it by typing tns platform add android for android and tns platform add ios for ios. So in this way we will get sure that the plugin is installed in our application. Third one is using providers to call REST services. As you can see, we have used restaurant service in my application to call the REST services. Here in this case, I have used map APIs with a provider to get the restaurant data. Third one is using font awesome icons instead of images. As you can see in my app, I have used font awesome, such as in this case of location, I haven't used images. I have used a font awesome icon here. Similarly with the case of star. So with this, we can have icons such as images without being images as used. It will help you to create an application that is low in size. If you will not use images, many images will cause your asset folder to be of large size, which leads to an app of larger size. So by using this, you can have an app of smaller size with a small single TTF file. You can have more than 1000 icons in a single place and using it everywhere in your application without being worrying about the images you have to use for icons. So now what can be done next? So as you can see, I have showed you the Google API. With this Google API, you will have this photo reference. So what does I mean by photo reference? Google have a photo reference API, as I will show you here. In this case, this is Google photo reference API. So if I will click on this, I will have a burger image. So by this I mean to say Google allow us to get the images of the restaurant with a photo reference keyword. So this key allow us to get all the photos of that particular restaurant in one place. So you can extend this application by using this photo reference key to get the images and show that in the list along with the name. Applying additional filter with user action. So you can give more user actions such as drop downs on checkbox to get more user interactivity with finding locations, such as you can set a drop down for cuisines, you can set a checkbox for prices, for filter for ratings. In this way you can extend this application. What more you can do is, like, you can do caching of images, that is load all the images at one time and load the images only the next time when the data is being getting changed. It will help you to create an app that is lag free and provide smooth user experience to run. Other thing you can do is you can do UI improvements on the list view to give your app a better view. So till now we have created an app, that is restaurant finder app, to get nearby restaurants of the user. So that's all for tutorial. Thank you.